The Spanish-American War, fought in 1898, was a short but pivotal conflict that marked a turning point in both American and global history. The war, driven by US intervention in the Cuban War of Independence and sparked by the mysterious sinking of the USS Maine, led to a swift victory for the United States over Spain. The consequences of this war extended far beyond the battlefield, reshaping the geopolitical landscape and signaling the emergence of the United States as a global power. Causes of the conflict. The Spanish-American War was triggered by a combination of factors, including Cuban War of Independence. Cuba had been struggling for independence from Spanish colonial rule for several years, with widespread support from the Cuban population. The brutal methods employed by the Spanish to suppress the Cuban revolutionaries, including concentration camps that led to significant civilian suffering, garnered sympathy in the United States. American public opinion, inflamed by sensationalist journalism, often referred to as yellow journalism, increasingly supported intervention on behalf of the Cuban rebels. Sinking of the USS Maine. The immediate catalyst for the war was the sinking of the USS Maine in Havana Harbor on February 15, 1898. The Maine had been sent to protect American interests during the Cuban revolt against Spain. Although the cause of the explosion that destroyed the ship remains unclear, it was widely blamed on Spain at the time, fueling public outcry and demands for action. American expansionism. The late 19th century was marked by a growing sense of American imperialism and the belief in manifest destiny, now extended beyond the continental United States. Many Americans, including influential politicians and business leaders, saw the war as an opportunity to expand US influence and acquire new territories. Duration and major campaigns. The Spanish-American War lasted only a few months, from April to August 1898, but involved several significant military campaigns. Naval Battle of Manila Bay, May 1, 1898. The first major engagement of the war occurred in the Philippines, where Commodore George Dewey led the US Navy to a decisive victory over the Spanish fleet in Manila Bay. This victory effectively secured the Philippines for the United States. Cuban Campaign. The primary focus of the war was on Cuba, where US forces, including the Rough Riders, led by future President Theodore Roosevelt, landed and engaged Spanish forces. Key battles included the Battle of San Juan Hill and the Siege of Santiago. The US military, supported by Cuban revolutionaries, quickly overwhelmed the Spanish defenders. Puerto Rico Campaign. US forces also landed in Puerto Rico, another Spanish colony, and faced minimal resistance. The occupation of Puerto Rico was completed swiftly and with few casualties. The war officially ended with the signing of the Treaty of Paris on December 10, 1898. The treaty's terms reflected the comprehensive victory of the United States and had significant implications. Cuban independence. Spain relinquished control of Cuba, which became a US protectorate before eventually gaining formal independence. The Platt Amendment, however, allowed the United States to intervene in Cuban affairs, establishing a long-lasting influence over the island. Territorial gains. The United States acquired several of Spain's overseas territories, including Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. These acquisitions marked the beginning of the United States as a colonial power and expanded its influence into the Caribbean and the Pacific. End of the Spanish Empire. The defeat effectively ended Spain's colonial empire, which had once been the largest in the world. Spain retained only a few small colonies, and the loss of its remaining significant territories marked the decline of its global influence. The Spanish-American War had profound and lasting outcomes. Rise of the United States as a global power. The war marked the emergence of the United States as a major global power with overseas territories. The acquisition of the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and Guam established the US as a colonial empire and extended its influence across the globe. Impact on Spain. The war was a significant blow to Spain, leading to a period of reflection and internal reform known as the Generation of '98. The loss of its colonies forced Spain to re-evaluate its national identity and future role on the world stage. Philippine-American War. The acquisition of the Philippines led to the Philippine-American War from 1899 to 1902, a brutal conflict between American forces and Filipino revolutionaries who sought independence. This war highlighted the complexities and contradictions of American imperialism. Cuban independence. While Cuba gained independence, the heavy influence of the United States in its affairs laid the groundwork for future tensions between the two nations, particularly in the 20th century. The Spanish-American War was a brief but transformative conflict that reshaped the United States' role in the world. It marked the end of Spain's colonial empire and the rise of the United States as a global power with overseas territories. The war's outcomes, particularly the acquisition of new territories and the complex legacy of American imperialism, continue to influence international relations and the history of the regions involved. The Spanish-American War stands as a significant turning point in the history of both the United States and the wider world. If you like videos like this, please subscribe and click that notification bell. Thanks for watching This and That News.